Right guys, I thought to do a review of my Arrmas. I've got, I think, 7 of them. I've got the Typhon, the Kraton 6S, the Outcast 4S, the Kraton 4S, the Mojave and the Talion. So I'll be going through them all and saying what my thoughts are, my experiences with them. So chose this one first. This is the first Arrma 6S I ever bought. I had the Kraton 4S originally. I had DHK. I got back into the hobby after 10 years and I just bought a DHK Hunter, which I loved, short course truck. I think I was running on 3S. And I remember going out with Steph and thinking, yeah man, this is a hobby I'd like to get back into. So this is the first 6S Arrma I bought. I remember the first time I ran it and that noise it makes. It was like a banshee, that screaming noise, that geared spare gear, metal spare gear. So the upgrades I've done to this, it's pretty stock. I bought GMP chassis braces front and back and a GMP servo mount. The rest of it's stock. I've had this about, it's coming up to a year. This time last year I bought it, and you know what? I haven't had a single problem with it. It's a good all-round RC. It's limited a bit as in its chassis clearance, getting it in long grass. It tends to weigh it down a bit, but dirt and gravel, it's proper epic. Like I said, I've never had a single problem with this. Just replace the bearings on it through running it in sand and stuff. I broke a servo on it, but the stock servos aren't that great, but I've got another stock servo and I've just replaced it with that. But yeah, I like this. I like my Typhon. I'd never get rid of it. Hopefully now that you've seen the version 4s, or the version 5, sorry, it might be good to go for a version 5, but definitely good beginner's RC. So that's that one. So here we go guys, got the Kraton 4S. This was my first Arrma. Done my research, wanted something nice and durable, plastic like the good old days, so I got this. This is a excellent beginner's RC. Quite a few upgrades to it. Aluminium pivot balls all around because the plastic ones wear out pretty quick, and HR shocks front and back because the original ones they leaked pretty badly. I've had 3 of these and all. Well, I'll say 3. I've had 2. I had 2. Got a bit heavy-handed with my first one after a few months. Snapped it in half. Rather than repair it, I just bought another one. And then the spares I had, I decided to build a new one. So I've got a fresh one over there, which is pretty much a self-clean, just a bit of a memory of my first step into RC. So this is it's a good basher. It's the slipper clutch is a bit problematic. The first Arrma I had loads of problems with the slipper clutch, just learning how you've got to set it up and stuff. But once you get it right, it's all right. Changed the bearings for rubber sealed bearings. Great RC, great price. Got rid of the radio, the stock radio in it. I just run Fly Skies on most of mine. I've since started using the DX5 Pro, so I'm going to transfer all my Arrmas over to them. I'm probably going to get the version 5s. I like the version 5. Well, I like the EXP Mojave. I'm thinking about getting that. I've got a Kraton on order, Kraton EXP. So, yep. T-bone bumper, got to be done. You've got to have a bumper on this thing. If you smash the front up too hard, the motor mount bends and pretty much knackers it up. So chassis is not the strongest. Plastics sometimes get criticised, Arrma plastics. The stock suspension arms on this are absolute rubbish. You've got to change it to the RPM ones. So that's what I've done. I've got Outcast tyres on it. The Kraton tyres, I don't know for the life of me why they put Kraton tyres on it. Alright on tarmac or skate parks or whatever, but if you're going off road with it, you've got to get some of these Outcast 4S boots or some Pro lines. So yeah, beginners, if you're going to get a beginner RC, I'd go for this, but I'd probably wait till they're bringing out a new 4S range. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. They might put a geared diff in it, improve shocks. It'll be interesting to see what they do. So that is the 4S Arrma Kraton. So this is my next 4S Arrma. Bought this after I bought the Kraton. The look of it. I mean, it looks boss. It looks spot on. Am I a fan? I sold me 6S Outcast because I wasn't happy with the way it wheelied all the time. But this is fun. Take it to skate park, flip it. Once you learn how to flip it, again you've got slipper clutch can be a problem. On this I've upgraded to pivot balls. Hot racing pivot balls, I think they are. Yeah, hot racing pivot balls all around. HR shocks, RPM front bumper, rubber seal bearings, upgraded servo from Banggood, a quick response one. I think it's 24 kilogram, whatever it is. I like this. I'm not a fan of the stunt trucks. I like speed and bashing. This or the 4S Kraton is a good starter's car. So yeah, that's good. So here we go, guys. This is one of my favourite Arrmas. I've got to admit, this is right up there. A lot of people have problems with theirs, but mine. This is my second Arrma Kraton 6S. First one I got second hand. It was a bit of a dog, but GMP braces. The GMP braces is just as good. I mean, you can get the the more heavy duty ones, but for general bashing, as long as you're not sending 50 foot in the air, GMP braces from Banggood or wherever, pretty decent. Again, GMP servo mount, upgraded Banggood servo, quick servo, metal geared servo, stock servos are pretty pants. RPM ball joints on the shocks. As you can see it there, that's chassis brace. I think I got it from Bad Touch Breakers, definitely. I mean, look at how narrow that chassis is there. You're going to be jumping it high, landing on the back, that is going to bend. So yeah, since I put this on, I've never bent a chassis. I've got an anchor plate from Lee Wood. I've done that on all my 6S cranes because you land it like that and it will just bend that with that anchor plate, so that's a good upgrade. RPM front bumper, Fly Sky radio, awesome rig, fast, it is fast, nice and fast. It's stock gearing, I always just run mine stock gearing, but yeah, never had a problem. I think I broke a fan on it, so you can get fans cheap if you take the fan out and get the measurements. You can find cheap fans. Upgraded the ball, the bearings to rubber sealed. Snapped a couple of these wing mounts. I've had this like just under a year, so but it does get run a lot. It's one of my go-to Arrmas. So RPM rear up wing mount. Found these on some guys selling them on Facebook. Wing buttons or whatever they're called, so they're good. They're a good upgrade. Yeah. What else can I say? It's one of Arrma's best, in my opinion, if not the best. That's why I've got the XB on order. Version 5, definitely. It's got chassis ridges in the back of the chassis. It hasn't got this, but it's got ridges in the back of the chassis, and it's wider at this point, so it's less chance of bending it. But the way some people send these, it's quite ridiculous. Another weak point that proper is my pet peeve with these is these shock standoffs. I think they use 2.5 volts and it's just they just break all the time. If you're jumping it, general bashing they're alright, but definitely get them chassis braces. Jumping it, the chassis brace will snap because they're on the plastic. and you without realising that they've gone, you carry on bashing and you will just bend the chassis. And one of my jobs I hate is replacing chassis, because it just shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be bending chassis on cars, but you know, they're not indestructible. So that's the Arrma Kraton. So this is another one of my favourites. The 6S range, obviously the power, you know, it's all there, but this is one of my pedigrees in my stable, the Talion 6S BLX. Again, pretty stock, GMP chassis braces, GMP servo mount, EcoBoost servo from Banggood, anchor plate from Leewood Custom RC, RPM from Bumper. That's about it. Wing mount is standard, because if you get the RPM ones, it takes the wing out further to the back and it doesn't quite look right. But I've got a brand new wing on it. Got a T-bone bumper on the back. It was just a spare one off my Typhon, so just a bit of cushioning. This is high up there with my favourites. This chassis on this, I don't know if you can see that, but it's twisted. I went out with Jay with his Mega Ram proper centre, bent the chassis on it. Good thing to put on the front is just washers, and you get little clips in these pivot arms, little plastic clips. You'll see them when you get it. It's good to put little lengthful washers in there. The speed, quite low speed. It's a bit of a speed truck, but it's great for jumping, proper flies through the air, really controllable with these big wheels. I've buckled one of the wheels on this because, you know, bad landings, so I need to get. I was hoping Arrma would bring out an EXB Talion, but it's not looking like they're going to do it, which is a shame. I don't know how popular this car is in the Arrma range, but I think it was a bit, you know, you either loved it or you hated it. So that's a shame. So I'm going to get M2C chassis for it and new wheels. I've got a new body for it, so yeah, I'm looking forward to after the winter I can get this out. It's a nice. It's like a middle brother of a Typhon. You know, the Typhon you're limited with the height, but this, even though it's quite low centre of gravity, it does all right on grass. RPM shock ball joints on it. Yeah, nice. The shock mounts are, you know, some standard shock mounts on Arrmas tend to bend, especially on the Kraton, because on the Kraton are quite big, but on the Talion, because it's got quite short shocks on it, the shock mounts are quite small, so they don't tend to bend. Again, with all my Arrmas, I've been running all these. This is the first year of having all these and never had a problem with diffs or anything. I don't think you have. No, I haven't. No. None of them have had problems, never had to shim any of them or anything like that. I think, you know, people just kind of like cling on to something. Oh, Arrmas are bad for the diffs, Arrmas are bad for the chassis, but Arrma is like right up there. I mean, the fact that whatever price this is, I mean, 600 quid, you buy this and the speed and the experience that you get, this is like, you know, this is what RC should be. I mean, this compared to when I first got into it and I had a Tamiya Madcap, and it's just like, ooh, plodding around the car park, but now the power, it's just right. Brilliant. Love this Talion. It needs some TLC, but it will be back. So here we go. This is my newest Arrma, the Arrma Infraction. It's not really in the same category as the others. I mean, the others are bashes, and this is just purely speed. But the look of it, look at it. 60 quid a set of tyres. You're going to go through a set of tyres probably every 2 runs, unless you do something with your throttle response. But every Arrma guy should have one of these, just purely for the experience of it, the adrenaline that you won't. It's how can you just once you get it, you're powering it around car parks, absolutely brilliant. And again. This is stock. It's obviously the V2 with the handbrake. Handbrake, nah. Handbrake, nah. got a few additions over the version 1. It's got a little rear drive shaft support on it, Spectrum motor and ESC. I've got scorching the fenders for it, must have. I've got them on my Mojave as well. Definitely great guy, great product, the amount of difference it makes. Bit scratched up. I've only ran this once. This is off the one run, so you can see got chassis fills that I made myself on it. This front skirt takes a bit of a battering. I mean, we're not in America, we don't have perfect flat roads for miles and miles like we do in the States, but over here everyone's got to have one of these. Brilliant. So here I'm at Mojave, or Mojave 6S. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with this truck. I love looking at it, I love the idea of it. But the first time I ran it, I was just like, nah. Of all my Arrmas, this is the one I've probably spent the most money on. And it's probably the one that gets ran the least. But I'm slowly getting back into short course trucks. I've just got Super Baja Rc 2.0 on ordered. And I'm also thinking about getting the Sentin 3S's, just for me and Steph, just to bash with. Found a nice spot. So what have we done to this? We've got an M2C chassis on the bottom, M2C braces, GPM servo mounts, stock electronics. What can I say? Weak points. These body mounts can be a weak point. I don't know if these scorched fenders are gonna look on here. That's pretty decent. We've got to look out for it. Nice suspension travel. It's nice when it goes. It's just if you jump it, you can't get the control out of it because the wheels are covered by the fenders. T-bone bumper, definitely need that. Another thing with this as well, the body takes a bit of a battering. This is one run. The sides just get ripped to bits and you get it up like that. And then corners just catch the back corners. But yeah, still stock. Haven't had to do any maintenance. I checked the diffs and the shocks on them regular. Standoffs are the same as the Kraton 4S with that 2.5mm bolt, but Arrma's just brought out the XB Extreme Basher standoffs, so they'll be good to get. But then if you don't snap the bolt, you can end up bending the shaft of the shock mount. But the EXB version of this, I'm actually thinking about getting one of them as well. I mean, you can have this, which is pretty much an EXB except for the shock mounts and a few things. I'm thinking about getting an EXB Mojave just because of how nice the thing looks. I mean, that matte and gloss black, it just looks nice. So yeah, so that's my 7 Arrmas. How do I rank them? Let's see.